It's that time once again, as another My Hero Academia episode has come and gone, and this week I really need to go plus ultra to give it a review. My reviews are going to work in a way where I talk about the new episodes and its contents while glancing over what I think was cool, talk about my favorite character for the episode and least favorite, and then talk about my favorite and least favorite moment from the episode as well. Now let's dive into things and see what Kirishima is going to do to cement himself as a major player in this season of the show. The episode opens up with an absolutely nuts cut of animation, showing two villains fighting one another in a city like a couple kaiju ripped straight from a Godzilla film. As suddenly as that action begins, a hero shows up to put the fight to a stop, and it's none other than Nejiri Hado of UA's Big Three. Quirk is called Surge, and unfortunately we were without an interlude to explain things from present Mike, so I'll try my best to figure out what it does. I'm pretty sure she creates some sort of energy that she can directly control the output of, perhaps electricity or something like it, and she is able to confront its physical manifestation in some way. Regardless, it is very effective, as she sets up her follower interns Froppy and Uraka to finish off the two villains with a really awesome combo move. The three of them regroup with the hero in charge of them, the Dragoon hero Ryukyu. She is the number 9 ranked hero, and while we do get Present Mike this time to talk about her, he doesn't actually say what her quirk does, and just that she runs the agency that her 3 students are working at. Since I didn't actually get to see her use her quirk, I don't have a good guess to what it actually does, but I can only assume it's got something to do with dragons. Ryukyu brings up to her interns that their agency is going to be working alongside Sir Night Eyes as part of his investigation of Overhaul and his group, and that segues right into Overhaul and Shigaraki meeting up as seen in the post-credits of the last episode. Overhaul reveals they're in an underground room that is part of a connection in several tunnels that his group uses to get around beneath the surface of the area. Shigaraki reminds Overhaul that there are a few conditions he wants met before he can agree to work alongside him, bringing up Overhaul's desire to use League of Villains as a platform, while the League desires more strength that it could possibly gain from aligning with Overhaul's group. Shigaraki says there is no chance that the League will work under Overhaul, saying that they'll do whatever they want, when they want. Essentially, this needs to be a joint partnership, and if it isn't, then they won't work with him and the rest of his goons. Before Overhaul could agree to the stipulation, however, Shigaraki asks him to reveal what his plan is so he could deduce if it is worth actually getting involved with Overhaul. And asking Shigaraki reaches into his pocket, but before he could even pull anything out, a gun is placed behind his head and an extremely muscular arm grabs his shoulder. He is warned to not try anything or get ahead of himself, being told he is doing what he wants a little too much while in this room. Shigaraki comments that the weight of Overhaul's men's lives did not match that of a comrade he lost when the two groups first met, or the arm of Compressed that was blown away. If the League of Villains doesn't receive any concession from Overhaul's group, and he doesn't see there being any point of them working together. Shigaraki pulls out a small needle, the same that was used on Compress a few episodes back, and asks if this is part of Overhaul's plan. A plan that the League of Villains leader assumes he already knows. We cut over to the meat and bones of that preview we got last week. Kirishima on patrol with the third member of UA's Big Three Sun Eater, and the pro hero who is watching over their internship, Fat Gum. Sun Eater brings up how he feels a bit inferior to Togata as a hero, and Kirishima relates in saying he feels like he is being left behind by his classmates quite a bit too, but is working hard to close that gap and will be using his internship as a chance to do so. A couple of bad guys are running through the city, and the commotion caused by it leads Fat Gum to stop them with his quirk. One of the bad guys uses their quirk to slip out of his grasp, however, but they're quickly captured by Sun Eater, who uses his tentacle-like fingers to trap them. Sun Eater's quirk is manifest. Anything he eats, he can use the characters of to manifest things on his body. In this case, he has fingers made of tentacles, a clam for a hand, and chicken feet and wings. All this because he ate food with him getting involved. The crowd cheers for Sun Eater's nice work, though from within the crowd, a gunshot goes off and Sun Eater is struck with one of those same needles that are involved with Overhaul. We flash back over to Shigaraki and Overhaul, and Shigaraki explains that this needle was shot into Compress and immediately made his quirk stop working. He wants to know what exactly it is, and what Overhaul is planning to use it for. Overhaul responds by simply stating he is planning to break the status quo, that he is going to take All For One's methods of stealing people's quirks, and instead fine-tune that method so he can rule in his place. Back at the scene, Kirishima is also shot at, but he activates his quirk in time, and the needle fails to penetrate his skin. He chases after the man who shot at him and Sun Eater, leaving the latter behind and unable to activate his quirk. Kirishima gives the criminal a hard time while chasing him over abandoning saving his friends that they were arresting earlier, all leading to a dead end where the criminal cries over being unable to do much. His quirk only allows small blades to protrude from his body, the size of box cutters, and it really makes him feel useless in the grand scheme of things, even though he feels he is surrounding himself with powerful people. Kirishima offers to help him, and seems to show some dirty pity for the guy, attempting to reassure him that he understands where he is coming from. In a fit of rage, the man stabs himself in the neck with an enlarged-looking version of the needle he shot earlier, and his quirk starts to become incredibly stronger. Long blades reminiscent of Moonfish's teeth shoot up from his body in several directions, and Kirishima is thrust into a fight so he can protect the civilians around him. The power of blades has become so great that Kirishima's hardening starts to get chipped away, and Kirishima ultimately feels the gravity of his situation way down. He thinks back to the advice that All Might gave him to fight head-on as opposed to trying to win with small tricks. He's reminded of a time where he believed nothing would knock him down because he wouldn't allow himself to be knocked down, and he activates Red Riot Unbreakable, a form he can only hold for about a minute and a half that increases the hardness of his body by quite a bit. The blades of the villain shatter when they connect with Kirishima, and subsequent attacks on the young hero fail. Kirishima uses his ultimate move to counter, Red Gun Turret, and the villain is defeated. However, in his crying state, the villain tries to get away but is swallowed up by Fat Gum, whose quirk is revealed to be fat absorption. Basically, he's able to suck and sink anything into his body that he desires. He looks an awful lot like Totoro from My Neighbor Totoro, and President Mike even references that. Kirishima ends up being praised by those around him for his valiant effort against the villain, and Fat Gum comments that he has a bright future ahead of him as a hero. After regrouping, an officer mentions that the gun used to shoot the needles earlier isn't a normal gun, and that more tests would need to be run to figure out what's going on with it. The drug that the villain used to power up is illegal in Japan, and was most likely a fake created somewhere in Asia, as it doesn't last nearly as long as a real one that is based out of the United States. The episode ends with Fat Gum pondering why drugs that prevent someone's quirk from working are out there right now and what it can mean for the future. And the post-credits, the students in Class 1A are all abuzz about the attention Froppy, Uraraka, and Kirishima got while out on their internships, and Deku is seen to still be feeling the weight of leaving Eri in Overhaul's clutches. And the preview for the next episode, it seems we're going to be in for an episode of talking. As Sir Night calls a meeting of the agencies and heroes he's going to be working with to bring down Overhaul. Not much more than that. My favorite character in this episode and moment once again are related as it has to be Kirishima. His new hardened form looks so incredibly cool, and his ability to rise up as a hero and protect so many is really commendable. As we know at this point, Kirishima figures to be an important part of the season, and they really set things up as such by making him come off as capable of this episode. My least favorite character was the villain Kirishima battled against, just simply because his quirk is really gross and having blades just come out of his body all over the place, including his eyes, and because he's seriously a coward. I don't expect villains to really have much standards, but my god, this one was such a fool. My least favorite moment wasn't exactly a moment, but it was more just me being disappointed that we didn't get to see more between Shigaraki and Overhaul in this episode. I want to see their twisted personalities be forced into working together more often, and it feels like that will definitely happen as the series continues. Well, that's going to do it for my review of My Hero Academia Season 4 Episode 5. Let's go, guys. Red Riot. If you guys enjoyed this one, let me know in the comments below and subscribe to Mystic Sage notifications on so you don't miss my reviews on the 4th season's next great episode. I've got a lot of great videos on my channel, especially about My Hero Academia, so go check them out. I hope you guys have been enjoying these reviews so far, and the show as well. And I'll be back with a review of Episode 6 real soon.